A billionaire walked into a department store and was caught stealing 2 pairs of socks. Welcome to Atma Theory, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Not because he couldn't afford them. He could have bought the entire store. So why would a man who already had everything risk his reputation for something so insignificant? Ancient wisdom offers a surprising answer. Because the greatest poverty is not the absence of money. It is the absence of contentment. A defeated mind never stops begging, even when it already owns the world. Today we'll explore why people lose themselves not because life gives them too little, but because the mind never learns the meaning of enough. Most people think losing means failing an exam, losing a job, or losing money. Ancient teachers saw something deeper. The greatest defeat happens silently. It happens the moment the mind loses control over itself. From childhood, we are taught how to compete. Study harder, earn more, build a bigger house, reach a higher position. None of these goals are wrong. Work is noble. Progress is beautiful. But somewhere along the way, achievement quietly becomes addiction. Every milestone promises peace. Yet peace never arrives. One promotion leads to another. One purchase creates another desire. One success becomes ordinary, and the mind immediately searches for the next. Without realizing it, we stop living. We start chasing. The destination keeps moving, and the mind keeps running. That is why modern life feels exhausted. Not because people work too much, because the mind never allows itself to arrive. Look around today's world. People have comforts that kings never imagined. Instant communication, safe homes, better medicine, unlimited information. Yet anxiety, comparison, and dissatisfaction continue to rise. Why? Because technology can improve comfort. It cannot train the mind. Think about corruption. Many people who accept bribes already earn enough. Their families are secure. Their basic needs are fulfilled. Still, the mind whispers, just a little more. That whisper destroys character long before it creates wealth. Today it asks for a small favor. Tomorrow it demands something greater. Eventually, there is no limit. The tragedy isn't the amount. The tragedy is that the mind forgets the word enough. You might imagine that this weakness belongs only to ordinary people. Surely wealth, education, and success would free someone from such temptations. But the next story proves exactly the opposite. Sometimes the richer a person becomes, the easier it is to see whether they have mastered their mind or become its servant. There is an uncomfortable truth about human nature. Money can transform your lifestyle without transforming your mind. A wealthy businessman from India, worth billions, was traveling through the United States. One afternoon, he walked into a large department store. He selected a few pairs of socks. Nothing unusual. But as he wandered through the aisles, a quiet thought appeared. No one is watching. Without thinking twice, he slipped 2 pairs of socks into his personal bag. The remaining pairs he carried openly to the checkout. He paid, collected his receipt, and calmly walked toward the exit. Everything seemed perfect, except the store had seen everything. Modern stores don't rely on suspicion. They rely on systems. Cameras had followed every movement. The employees didn't stop him. They simply waited. At the exit, the security gate refused to open. An employee approached politely. "Sir, would you mind opening your bag?" The businessman smiled. "I've already paid." "I know," the employee replied. "But our system says there's something more." The bag was opened. Inside were the hidden socks. Imagine that moment. A man who could have purchased the entire store stood embarrassed over 2 pairs of socks. He wasn't poor. He wasn't desperate. He wasn't hungry. He simply lost to his own mind. Greed never asks, "Do I need this?" It only asks, "Can I get this?" That is the defeated mind. It keeps begging even after receiving abundance. Today we may never steal socks. But how often do we steal our own peace by comparing, competing, and constantly chasing what we don't need? The object changes. The defeated mind remains the same. Long ago, there lived a simple farmer. He wasn't famous. He wasn't wealthy. But he had enough. He worked his fields, fed his family, slept peacefully. One day, while digging the earth, his shovel struck something hard. It was a clay pot. Inside were 1,000 ancient gold coins. Overnight, his entire life changed. The village gathered outside his home. The same people who barely noticed him before now greeted him with admiration. Our millionaire has arrived. At first, he enjoyed the attention. Then slowly, he began believing the title. If I am a millionaire, I shouldn't live. Like a farmer, he stopped working. He dressed differently. He entertained guests. He tried to look rich. But there was one problem. Every coin remained inside the pot. To continue this new life, he would have to spend the treasure. And that frightened him. If I spend 1 coin, I'll no longer own 1,000. People will stop calling me a millionaire. So he locked the treasure away. The fields became empty. The harvest disappeared. Income stopped. Yet the gold remained untouched. His wife pleaded, "Our children need food." "Use the treasure," he refused. Years passed. His health collapsed. Doctors could save him. The gold could pay for everything. Again his family begged. What is the value of wealth if it cannot save your life? But he had become a prisoner not of poverty, but of identity. He wanted to die as a millionaire rather than live as an ordinary man. And that is exactly what happened. He died. The treasure stayed behind. His title vanished. His life was gone. He thought he owned the gold. In reality, the gold owned him. Sometimes our strongest chains are not made of iron. They are made of attachment. The billionaire and the farmer lived in different worlds. One had everything. The other found everything by chance. Yet both were defeated by the same mind. So what does a victorious mind look like? That answer is where ancient wisdom becomes truly beautiful. If a defeated mind is recognized by its endless craving, How do we recognize a victorious one? Not by how much it owns, but by how little it needs. There was once an elderly farmer who owned a small orchard. His clothes were simple. His home was modest. Yet there was a quiet joy about him. One day, a wealthy merchant stopped beside the orchard. Looking at the ripe fruit, he admired the trees. The farmer smiled. "Please take some." The merchant picked a single fruit. The farmer laughed gently. "Only one. Take a few more. When someone enjoys the fruits of my garden, my heart becomes full." The merchant was surprised. This man possessed very little yet behaved like the richest person he had ever met. He wasn't counting. He wasn't protecting. He wasn't afraid of tomorrow. His happiness came not from accumulating, but from sharing. Now compare all three lives. A billionaire lost his dignity for 2 pairs of socks. A farmer lost his life protecting a title. Another farmer found joy simply by giving fruit away. The difference was never money. It was the condition of the mind. One mind constantly asked, "What else can I get?" The other quietly answered, "I already have enough." That is real wealth. The ancient scriptures express this truth in a single line. Atma Theory. Through the self, one gains true strength. Real strength is not physical. It is not influence. It is not fame. True strength is the ability to remain peaceful when desire appears. Every day the mind collects invisible dust. Comparison, jealousy, pride, greed. The habit of wanting what belongs to someone else. Slowly this dust covers our inner clarity. Imagine living in a beautiful house, yet never cleaning it. Eventually, the windows become cloudy. The light grows dim. The beauty is still there, but it can no longer be seen. The mind works exactly the same way. Peace is already within us, but endless craving hides it. The sages never said, "Collect more." They said, "Clean more, clean the mind." And peace reveals itself. Centuries later, the great Saint Bassavana offered the same teaching in the simplest possible way. Keep your outer life clean. Keep your inner life even cleaner. Clean hands. Clean words. Clean actions. Clean intentions. That is spirituality. Because rituals are meaningless, but because rituals without purity cannot transform the heart. Every action begins as a thought. Every habit begins as a choice. When thoughts become pure, actions naturally become pure. And when actions become pure, life becomes lighter. Perhaps pleasing the divine has never been about becoming extraordinary. Perhaps it begins by becoming deeply honest. Look back at every story. The corrupt official, the billionaire, the farmer imprisoned by his gold, the generous farmer who found joy in sharing. Each of them stood before the same question. What is enough? Some spent their lives chasing the answer. One had already found it. Maybe the greatest victory in life is not earning more. It is needing less. Because the mind that always wants more can never rest. But the mind that says, "I have enough," cannot easily be manipulated by greed, fear, comparison, or pride. That is freedom. That is strength. That is peace. This is Atma Theory. The next time life offers you a little more, pause before reaching for it. Ask yourself, is this my need? Or is it my defeated mind? If this reflection stayed with you, consider joining us on this journey, because the richest person in the world is not the one who owns the most. It is the one whose mind has finally learned to say, I have enough. Clear mind, meaningful life.